Okay,
We'll do it live.
I got I got the best of both worlds. I actually played the countdown all the way and I interrupted it. So I feel great about that. Okay.
Nice.
Intro. Hey everybody, I'm Jim, also known as Final Neuron. I'm talking to a camera in a small room, and there are two other people connected over the interwebs via tubes. We've got over here, we've got Daniel, aka Danger the Llama, aka Theoden, aka the Third, and down there. Do your thing. Daniel is a normal person.
Daniel's a normie.
He has all of his chromosomes. He has a job and a family. So yeah, skip. Joe?
Yep. I'm Joe. I go by Gringo Guy on the internet, so you can find me at that username
On Twitch.
on Twitch
Yeah.
and Twitter, which I don't use
Theoretically.
on
YouTube. Uploading our immaculate playthroughs
some days
of things. Last week, I didn't know how to push a button. So we had like a 2-minute stream.
After our 1 hour stream.
I pushed the button, but there was another button, and I didn't push the other button. So we had a good stream. We had a good stream last week, and we had a good conversation last week,
and we laughed really hard.
We did, and then we were done. We were all
and no
done.
one will ever see.
And then we streamed for 2 minutes. So, mea culpa. Mea culpa. It's all my fault.
You're not gonna.
The penance is flaming hot Mountain Dew.
Okay. I didn't. I don't like Mountain Dew, so I'm exempt.
Daniel did something
if that
wrong.
Should be a thing.
Daniel did something wrong. Daniel noticed and didn't say anything.
This is true.
Sinner, heretic.
That's me. Those things. Yeah. Speaking of,
I've never seen you make that face before.
That was the Mountain Dew flavor.
That would be pretty funny if we had that where we had to drink some every time we made a really bad game decision.
I would need a 6-pack every time.
Your character has a knowledge of 2.
Yeah, that's true. That's setting me up for failure.
He's rash.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true. I would get sick.
We may have to take up a collection to buy your supply.
We need more flaming hot Mountain Dew so that Daniel can
taste it. Okay. Today, I promise we might finish all of the characters.
I'm really just a name change away from being finished. So
yeah. So Bosco Skips, or whatever your character's name was, is gonna change to. It was actually worse than that.
Oh yeah,
Bosco Skips could actually be some kind of street orphan name.
Oh yeah, that's like an actual. It's like an actual Star Wars name. My character name was not a Star Wars name.
It was a country music name.
Yeah, it was
pretty close.
Which makes it extra unforgivable. Welcome to the Comedy Hour, featuring Flaming Hot Mountain Dew.
It's worth it.
We're not actually doing a reaction stream. I'm just reacting.
You're just reacting very strongly.
Oh, there's the pepper. So, Joe, for you, we just needed the name. Did you settle your specializations and everything?
I believe so.
I think you did.
Yeah, I had a specialization in blasters, space transports, and hide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, Daniel, we needed to do one of your specializations. You had another skill point where you could take a skill or stick it into one that you already had.
Oh, we didn't do that already?
Maybe.
I can't remember.
There's no proof. There's no proof that we did.
You can't prove it.
You can't prove I forgot the thing.
Yeah.
Let's see what notes I took.
Yeah, sorry, I've been very disorganized. It'll get better once I have a sheet that's completed.
Don't try to upstage me.
I'll be assertive and yeah, I have this skill. Magic missile.
Okay, so I think we did. What I wrote down is that you took 1 point in search, and you had a specialized knowledge skill, Imperial Navy protocols.
Yes, I did do that.
Yeah,
we talked about it offline, sort of.
Yes,
off stream.
The knowledge skill is just kind of a hey, I was in the Imperial Navy very briefly before I faked my own death.
I got through a week of training.
It was so great. I pretended to die to get out. And then search is. So I've read some other stuff that suggests that search is not as broadly useful as the original rulebook says. I ignored it. I think search is great. I mean, if you think about it, search is a pretty broad thing.
I mean, investigate was a separate skill. I had thought about that one too, but.
So what we need to settle is, I think you already picked all of your personal stuff, but you were saying just a minute ago, hey, there's a whole scavengers rule book.
Mm-hmm.
How deep does this rabbit hole go?
Yeah, I kind of kicked
pages.
myself after I mentioned it, but
so let's go with this. The 1,000 credits for personal items and like a weapon or whatever. I think we already said we would offset some of that if it was stuff that you could expect to find on an Imperial Navy base that you could have just swiped or could have reasonably been with you when you faked your own death.
Right. And like that one thing was, I think maybe the armor and the blaster or something, like the
Right.
E11.
Right.
Yeah.
For the rest of it, we have options. One is that it kind of makes sense with your backstory, which is like you crashed, you kind of made contact with the locals and did odd jobs and stuff for a while, probably some mechanic work until you could cobble together a ship that basically flew and was hyperdrive capable. And then you got to Nar Shaddaa. So you could have reasonably picked up some of that stuff along the way. And the way that we will balance that out is just change your debt amount.
Okay.
Like the guy, obviously anything that the guy, and I tell you what, I'll make a character that represents the guy that approached you and offered you a deal you couldn't afford to refuse.
Right.
Offered you a debt you couldn't afford to refuse. Anyway, anything that he would have offered you would be debt, obviously. And then if like there's some other stuff that would have reasonably led to some sort of debt, we'll count that as well.
Okay.
So in other words, we have some flexibility in adjusting the amount of debt. We can do that retroactively if we need to.
Okay.
And we can adjust your equipment a little retroactively if we need to. But I'd like very much a week from today that we are actually doing a role play session.
Yeah.
That
nice.
is the goal. Life events do the things that they do. But other than that, I'd like to be actually doing the thing, doing it.
Hmm.
So rather than stating the same thing more multiples of times, let's try to do it. Let's try to settle it. Did you see anything in that scavenger book that you feel like you definitely need to address immediately because it was like Christmas?
Not right off, but it's probably something that if this character survives, then it would be worth investing in, like you know, a landing claw or a tractor beam for pulling the ships you blew up along behind you, as long as there aren't any more ships chasing you, that kind of thing. But probably not to start. Not that I've had time to look at yet.
I just had a thought. It's not something I'm going to spring on you yet,
This is
but
a
it's for
very
the future.
thinky thought.
We're witnessing a trap being made.
I was going to say it's going to be a mixed blessing.
Well,
A blessing mixed with venom.
those sometimes make for good stories, so I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Um,
Complications.
So other than that, I guess it's just the ship, right?
Yes, and that's the big one. It would be good if we could decide on that. We found that listing of uglies.
Mm-hmm.
And we can alter it a little. The only two things that I think are really required is that it needs a hyperdrive.
Yep.
Of some sort, even if it's like the single jump stored in the nav computer type.
Yeah.
And it needs to have at least some Imperial parts to it.
Yeah.
For it to make any sense.
But you made a good point last time with that. It probably needs to be an Imperial base ship with a hyperdrive to start with, instead of. It looks like it's part of a convoy, got lost or something. Like that is less likely on a planet without anybody to track it down.
Yeah. Like if you had 4 guys practicing hyperspace jumps and scanning a planet, each in ships that were like single person craft, it makes sense that if one of them went down, the other 3 are not going to land and crawl all over this backwater planet themselves to try to find you.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me, especially after boom, clunk, the pieces fall off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think that makes sense. So, do you have a certain book in mind that you're looking at?
I mean, I was looking at the TIE Fighter book. I looked at the stock ships book, and the Pirates book has the uglies in it. But other than that, I couldn't really. Oh, I looked at the Rebel source book too, but I mean, it didn't really list anything. I don't think that the stock ships didn't. Which is a little disappointing. I thought, well, maybe there's something unusual and weird looking that's a random starfighter other than the ties or the Rebel ones that might be weird to throw in and mix, but I didn't see anything. So unless I find something like really funny, then I'm probably gonna stick with the the TIE cluster that we've already looked at. It looks a little funny. And then, I mean, I think what's going to make the most sense to pair it with is going to be either the Y-wing engines, for like um, a little bit of a different version of the reverse of what you're showing now. So
Right.
so that's the Y tie ugly. There's a
The
tie
tie
Y
Y.
ugly. So it would be a variation of that.
I really
Um,
wish there was a picture of that here.
Well, I may have to make one some point because I mean it looks, maybe it'll look like a wishbone or something.
Is it
Well, I
ugly?
guess the Y
Yes.
it'd be ugly.
So
I really want to put A-wing engines on a TIE fighter pod, but I don't think
all of the
that would be a
armor
lot
and
more
none of the
expensive.
speed. A Y tie. A
Yeah.
tie
Did you
Y.
look at maneuverability on that?
On
It's like
which?
0 dice.
That's the one you're getting.
Oh, I can't even turn. Oh man.
So that stat technically it's a stat that adds on to your piloting skill whenever you use the piloting skill for any reason. This just means it's not particularly maneuverable. Like it doesn't do you any favors at all, ever.
Yeah.
Never.
But the other one,
The
I get
tie
it mixed
Y.
up, is much better.
I found the picture of the tie wing.
So it has a hold on. The thing where I stop.
Nice.
That actually looks cooler, to be
That
honest.
looks a lot cooler than I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks
definitely.
way cooler than the Y tie.
Now, to be fair, this kind of looks like a finished design where somebody like scrubbed all the scratches and nastiness off of it.
Right.
So it's kind of unfair in that way.
It needs to be more thrown together.
But if it's gonna be a different pod, then this one would look different anyway. So maybe I can work on that if I ever have time.
So,
but it definitely needs to be ugly.
There is, and this is probably a good option. There is a TIE fighter that's basically just a TIE LN, like the basic fighter with a hyperdrive.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
Is that in the TIE Fighter?
That should be in the TIE Fighter book. Yeah. Should be in the TIE Fighter book. Trying to remember what that one was called. Oh, is it a Galaxy Guide? Do either of you remember? Is that a Galaxy Guide?
No idea.
Oh, the TIE Fighter one?
Yeah, the TIE Fighter book.
That is guides and source books.
Guides and source books?
Yeah.
Guide to TIE Fighters, TIE Fighter source book. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I feel like that's a community. Yeah, that's a community created book. Let's see. And I'll have to scroll down until I see it. Oh, there it is. The TIE Thrust. It's like on page. They don't have page numbers. It's like on the second page of pictures. That's what that is. The TIE Thrust. Let's see. It has shields, which is kind of amazing.
Oh, it's got a weird little thing on the backside.
Yes, that's the hyperdrive.
Mm.
Let's see. So it's got shields. Wow. 3 dice of shields is actually quite great. 1D of maneuverability, which is like, it's not horrible at all. It actually has a listed price. I don't know what they're basing that on.
Mm-hmm. It's only 30,000 used.
Exactly. It says consumables 2 days, which means it has some sort of storage inside for personal items. It may have had like a weapon, something like that. stashed on there?
It has a large ion afterburner that vastly increases its speed, but it's only in a straight line.
Yeah, you know what? This one's not listing the hyperdrive. It's not listing a hyperdrive. So that's not the one I was thinking of, unfortunately. Okay, keep looking. The TIE Armageddon. Yeah. Let's put our recruits in a TIE Armageddon.
Well, and the cluster said it was more for officers, but I don't know that you're going to find one that's for recruits that's going to be a perfect fit that has a hyperdrive.
I am searching through the book right now. Oh, I can't. Oh, I don't like that. I dislike it. Do I like it? No.
I mean, there are some others, like the TIE Dart has one, but it looks pretty fancy, so I think it's going to be too fancy.
Yeah, yeah. The TIE cluster was, I think we went over all the reasons why it was pretty good. It's listed as a person, like a single person transport and inspection craft. And that's the kind of thing you might send someone out training on.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be a warship, but hey, you can get out there and do some other sorts of duties with it.
Mm-hmm.
Hyperdrive multiplier ×2, which makes it a pretty standard hyperdrive speed, limited to 3 jumps. That's not so weird. Space 6, so it's not all that fast. Maneuver 2D +1, that's pretty good. Pretty good. And I think it had shields.
There's a TIE Sprint.
1D shields.
I saw a TIE
Really
shuttle
fast.
in the quick reference guide, and I am looking that up right now.
Okay, yeah, if you find that. So the TIE Dart, Daniel, it looks like that one was put into service after Endor.
Yeah.
And we haven't really hit that. Like, that's right around the point where we are. So
no, that's not it. There's another TIE. What was it, LN or NS? But it doesn't have a hyperdrive either.
the TIE Infiltrator.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, that's interesting.
TIE Assault Shuttle. That seems a little too heavy duty.
The TIE Infiltrator is actually, it definitely meets your needs, but it looks like it was almost like a special forces ship.
Yeah, which again doesn't fit me.
Yeah. The TIE Lambda. No hyperdrive.
Okay, I found the TIE shuttle. If you guys would like to have a look.
Sure.
Share it up.
Okay.
Up it. I'm gonna have to take another drink.
My sharing was canceled somehow. There we go.
I don't know why these things don't make me cough anymore. They just make me sad. No picture, huh?
Well, there's a picture of a TIE bomber right here.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of other pictures online that was the same thing, except the solar panels were basically inverted, like they kind of stuck out instead of going in.
Still, how does that make it a shuttle?
Not for sale.
Oh, it can take
Hmm.
2 passengers. Maybe they just like took a Thai bomber and they emptied the bomb bays and they just like shoved people into
They
the
put a couple of
the
seats in
bomb
it.
bays.
Here's your life support gear. Keep it on your lap.
Looks like it does not have a hyperdrive though, so
Oh,
So why did you bring it up?
I was sharing.
Here's something dumb
Oh.
looking.
yeah, I found it. It is in here.
It.
The shuttle, the Thai sh is in the TIE Fighter source book. I just haven't seen it yet.
I think that we need to be a little more judicious with our words.
Okay, Turtle.
The American people want us to. Oh, well, I don't remember, frankly. I haven't been to Kentucky in who knows how long. I don't know who that could be.
I have no idea.
I was struck by. I did it on your stream, so I just repeated it, but it doesn't refer to any particular turtle.
Hmm. You were inspired by the spirit of the turtle, and that's what came out.
Yeah, Mitch, the turtle.
Mitch the turtle.
Let's see.
So
I've got
TIE shuttle.
my turn.
So I kind of think maybe we should just stick with the cluster, as much as I hate the name.
The cluster.
Yeah.
Boy, there's no way that could be abused.
Oh.
Hey, TIE Experimental M1 hyperdrive multiplier.
Definitely
1.5.
experimental.
It's eyeballs and a nose is definitely what that is.
Maybe they were testing the TIE experimental, and they were like, "Who can we afford to lose? Hey, recruit, go try this for us."
Hey, you know,
You like that?
it could fit your story.
It fits.
This guy
It
does
says
not
remotely
fit.
controlled or droid brain.
This
though.
guy does not fit the Imperial Navy. He doesn't.
It has crew 0.
Put him in the experimental. It also has a pod with a window.
Yeah. So how does it have crew 0 and then has a pod with a window?
Remotely
Yeah,
controlled droid brain.
I'd like to know the source for this thing. I wish every single thing was sourced. A few months after the Battle of Hoth. It's some story nobody ever read.
It's kind of
Goodness,
a long
they've got
story.
a book about this one ship.
Yeah.
This one ship no one ever saw or wanted to fly.
Or could fly, apparently.
Oh, the M2 looks like a regular TIE fighter and has a hyperdrive that's right under it.
Well, there you go.
The M2.
Oh, it's also crew 0 though, even though it's so never mind again.
Well,
Droid
just say
brain.
it was.
Sense.
Just say it was so experimental they didn't even have the droid brain in yet, and they had you piloting, or
They thought I was as dumb as a droid.
they wanted to remote pilot it, but they needed like a guinea pig, so they just stuck you in there to see if you would survive.
So I manually took control and ran away.
Somehow,
Here's what happened. Here's what happened.
I'm just throwing out ideas, okay?
His character climbed into the ship, dismantled the droid brain, and then pretended to be the droid brain.
Oh,
yes.
He rigged the droid brain to answer the way that it was supposed to, and then he just flew the ship. Because that's what you do. Things that are completely computer controlled are also human controllable.
Yep.
I mean, that's true. I spoke binary to flight control, and they let me through.
Exactly.
You've been outvoted. This is your character's backstory.
Oh,
I spoke pure machine code, and
So-
the droid brain sympathized with me.
so here's a side question. I don't want to get too far off for too long, but as far as my name goes, I was thinking maybe that's not his real name, but that's the terrible name he got stuck with as a identity.
It's on his. It's his.
Because it's his
It's
new
his
name.
fake ID name.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, and he hates it.
Well, then you. Oh, I like that.
Mm.
But you'll have to come up with a real name for him.
Mm.
My name is Hans.
Hans Olo.
Oh, do you know what I'm quoting?
No, I don't.
So in Stargate SG-1,
Ha!
Okay.
you know the glasses dude, the Doctor what's his face nerd.
Right.
Daniel.
He ended up having to pose at Daniel.
His name
Ended
is
up-
Daniel Jackson.
You're right. You're right. Daniel Jackson.
His name is Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up having to pose as a like a pirate or something selling some contraband, and that was the name he gave them. He gave to the
see.
aliens.
Han
Hans
Solo.
Hans Olo.
Oh wow.
It was glorious.
I see.
TIE Sprint Interceptor has a hyperdrive,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of shielding.
Hmm.
What do they say about it?
You know, it occurs to me that we might be overthinking what specific ship he was piloting because he's going to tear it apart anyway.
And it's not like we have a picture or a drawing of it.
Right.
Right. Right.
Nor will we. So
So there's an M5 that also has no crew. Man,
yeah, I saw. Yeah, those M series all seem to be remote controlled.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I think Joe's right. I don't think it matters too much.
It matters to me.
So
You're cobbling
well
something
then
together.
you can pick it out then if it matters to you.
You know, actually, yeah, probably we are. Whoops. Probably we are overthinking it. Especially since I already found one that seems to fit everything you need. Well, so in fact, like maybe the ship was basically intact, but you had to disguise it. So you ended up
Disguise it.
cobbling like some Y panels on the side, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, that might be funny, but it's not as. This is a terrible piece of junk. This is like you put cardboard all over your ship to try to hide what it is.
I like how you're.
Hey, it's functional cardboard.
I like how you're. Like your qualifier of desirability is how funny it is. Is this
man.
funny enough for
Shadowrun
my
character
character?
all over again.
I can't help it. It's what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Thus the name
You
choices.
can't go wrong with fun.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I
let's
don't know
just say
about-
this. Let's say it has the stats of a TIE Y.
Okay.
which is the ball with tie wing, with Y wing nacelles on the side.
Yeah.
But it has a
Okay.
hyperdrive multiplier, like the clutch
Cluster.
cluster. Yeah. And then, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Stats wise.
Okay.
And we can say
then
that's the
hopefully
origin.
I
If you're
can
okay
add
with that
things
being
to
the
it.
origin, that'll be the origin of the ugly.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. If I
I think
can't
we were
get
lucky to
A-wing
find
engines on it,
something. You could eventually. You could eventually.
oh man.
You develop contacts in the rebellion, not because you care about like galactic justice, but because you want to know where the battles are. Because when there's a battle,
You need that
you can
sweet
show up and
salvage.
salvage. I hope a bunch of rebels died here today, man. Hopefully there's an A-wing out there somewhere.
He's like a buzzard. That's the name of your ship, the Buzzard.
The buzzard. That's a good.
His
I should be
salvage.
thinking about that.
A starfighter / salvage ship.
Hmm.
Interesting indeed.
I should
A
come up with
salvage
name.
fighter. In more ways than one.
Yep.
I had also thought about trying to combine different TIE parts, but
There are
don't-
some
I don't know.
uglies like that.
that were
I don't-
that were all ties but different ties.
Yeah.
That could be interesting too.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the TIE pod that has headhunter wings on it. That's what I was thinking of.
Mm.
I mean, a TIE bomber with any wings on it would be really funny.
A TIE bomber with X-wing wings on the side.
Mm-hmm. Just like super wide. Yeah.
Oh no. So what does that leave us with? What else do we have to figure out for your character? The debt
Probably not
amount.
much, just the debt. Yeah, and I think that's gonna depend on like how much the ID stuff costs, and whether or not I do any extra work to the ship before the game starts. Because if all it is the stats of the Y tie or tie Y or whatever martial art it is, I don't know.
Joe, what was your character's debt?
It is 15,000 with 2 debtors.
Oh yeah.
I mean, one debtor.
Which was going to be like 2 different lawns. I think one was 10 and one was 5.
Oh, I don't remember if we got that specific, but that
yeah, it
sounds
was
fine.
So Daniel, for you, the person that helped you is not going to be honest about it. So it's not like it's only going to cost as much as it would cost somebody else that had contacts and all that to get things done.
Sure.
And that's also partly to offset that you're starting with a ship.
Yeah. And I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody.
Was there something else on yours, Joe, other than the 15K debt? I mean, you got the ship.
As far as debt, no.
What was the model of the ship?
It was a Cazelis light freighter.
Oh, whoops.
I'm looking at the notes I have I have for it. It has 2 smuggle compartments. It cost $15K with 2 debtors, bought off an old spacer. So I took a loan for the balance, and also underneath that, pizza delivery.
Pizza the Hut. Hot and prepared. Hot and prepared with Pizza the Hut. That's about the level that you would be delivering.
Yeah.
That's about the quality. Pizza prepared.
That
hot
high
and
quality
prepared.
Narshada pizza.
Yeah. Or whatever you call it. Let's see. One tie, why ugly, hobbled together. And question mark, depth. Joe,
Yes.
have you I'm gonna delete this name next to your character. Have you come up with a proper name?
Yes. So I was goofing around with I was goofing around
If
with
you cringe twice,
name generator.
will it hurt you? Ugh.
Worth pausing for. So I was messing around with a Star Wars name generator before we started, and it spat out the name Oral Bronar, which was really funny sounding. It was very funny sounding. I'm not going to keep that name. I'm going to keep a variation of that name.
Wait. Bronar is a generic drug.
What does it do? What is it treated for?
Oh no.
Oh, it's it's
Is it constipation?
It's a generic for loratadine, which is an allergy medicine.
Oh,
That's extremely boring.
Oh,
Boy, is that boring. Ouch. Ow, I pulled my board.
I'm so bored. But yeah, I thought I would take a variation of that name, even though it sounds like the original one sounds ridiculous. But if you drop the
Yes.
first O, you get Ral Bronar, which sounds better, more Star Warsy.
What's Ral short for? It's short for Rally, not Han Solo.
Right. That's what it's short for. But yeah, Ral Bronar. It sounds weirdly Star Warsy, so I think I'll go with that. Oral Bronar.
Oral?
Why would a name generator spit out oral?
A Star Wars name generator.
Yes.
If it had said
Why?
nasal Bronar.
Suppository Bronar.
I'm sorry, sir. It's testicular Bronar.
How long do I have?
It's gonna have to be cut out.
Oh no.
It's already taken over most of the area. No. How long do you have? Yesterday. Yes.
I was looking up used prices for the ties and the Y-wing. So for debt considerations, so the the cluster, the only price listed is used, and it's actually less than a regular TIE fighter, which is weird.
Sounds right.
I mean, it has a hyperdrive, but still cheaper.
And
So
some
that's
shields.
20,000 used, and then a Y-wing used was like 73. So
Obviously, you're getting the parts for the cluster free.
Yeah.
Ish. All you had to trade was your life.
right,
And the others, supposedly you're going to scavenge. I guess you could end up buying them. You could end up buying them. You could buy, like, oh, this guy has these 2 parts off of a Y-wing. He's decided he's never
Well-
going to do anything with it.
that would probably still give me 2 deaders though, because it would be wherever I crash landed, and then Nar Shaddaa.
I'm kind of thinking
Unless he wanted to
you
buy
took
my
whatever
debt.
you could get on that planet, because it's like it's not a metropolis or anything. It's not a place with a strong official imperial presence, which is why they didn't just hunt you down.
Oh, like I went straight there.
Like
So-
whatever
so I don't have
settlement
to
was on
crash
the
land
planet.
anymore. I just run away if I've got a hyperdrive.
Well, you fake the explosion or whatever.
Hmm.
To that point, yeah, maybe you're not running away. But if you launch with anything other than official looking ID into any system that's populated anywhere near at all,
Mm.
then the Bureau of Ships and Services will notice and be very unhappy.
Yeah, I like the crash idea because then I have to cobble it together, but that adds a lot of complications.
Well, you're a tinkering person. Like, it makes sense that he would want to do that. Like, okay, all I've got to do is acquire some parts to like stick onto this thing so it's not so obvious what it is.
Mm.
And maybe I can even get some extra functionality out of it at the same time. And then I can jet out of here. I'll go to some like criminal place and like convince them I'm a tough guy and like,
Somehow.
yeah, and sell my services just long enough to like get my feet under me, something
Yeah.
like that. It's amazing these things. Like, I'm more than halfway through it. It doesn't get easier.
It never stops being terrible. Like you never get used to it. It just
No.
it just continues to be awful every time.
It's really not good. No, I'm sorry. It is bad.
It's bad. It's very bad.
So as far as your debt amount, for me, from my perspective, it's mostly a balancing mechanic. Like so that you don't get a whole lot of goodies for free out of the gate.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm also kind of balancing what you've got against what it will enable you to earn within the relative near future, so that you still have something to work on. Like, I've got that debt and I've got to do that to keep those guys off my back and so on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'd earned some money, but it's not enough to just get all the good stuff right away. Like I have to pay off
Yeah,
the debt
not like
too.
one job. Like we talked about before, when Han Solo was going to take
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan and Luke to Alderaan, it was like 17 grand. And he was just like,
You could buy your own shit.
yeah, I'll do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Luke said, we could almost buy our own ship for that much.
Yeah.
And he was right. Probably could have bought a used one. Yeah, but who's going to pilot it, kid? You? You bet I will. Something. I haven't watched original trilogy in quite a long time.
Mm,
I'm going to have to
it's still good.
acquire. the despecialized edition and go through it
Oh,
again.
yeah. Where do you get that?
Well,
Yeah, never mind.
you hoist the black flag.
Yeah. Yeah, the originals were so much better than the edited originals. And like the ending music. I can't stand the ending music to the third movie. I don't know if you guys have. Oh, it's bad.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
bad.
The whole like
Like
The
during
music is worse than them changing, Anakin.
yeah.
It hurts to listen to.
Something I've heard recently, which I never noticed, but now that I have heard it, it's going to haunt me forever and ever, is that the original score was very much set and the original editing was very much set to match. So that when you hit certain points in the score, certain things are supposed to be happening. The energy is supposed to match and so on.
Hmm. I believe
And
that.
in the special edition, it didn't match anymore.
Yeah.
It didn't match. They did not sync up. And so it came off as weird to people that noticed that kind of thing until they realized it. So yeah.
I buy that.
I'm not sure what exactly what all the despecialized edition removes. But it keeps some things. Not everything in the special edition was terrible.
No.
Actually, not all of it was terrible. Some, especially some of the space battle scenes where they kind of added numbers so that there was like more of a presence on each side. That's kind of neat.
Or just added like little details here and there without like majorly changing anything. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't add like a giant desert brontosaurus like bucking and throwing packages everywhere upon entering Mos Eisley for reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. No. So is there anything else we need to settle on either of your characters?
I think I am good to go.
I think you are. You've got a proper name now.
That's all I needed.
Yes. And Daniel. Sorry, Theoden.
Yeah. I think I mostly got it. If I have time to try to think of something weird to throw on the ship, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll even look through the salvaging stuff, and it's like, here's this weird, tie that's got a big grappling arm on it for carrying
and
stuff
then
home.
Dogfights.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't really use it while I'm fighting and hope it doesn't get shut off, but
he goes after them Outlaw Star style.
Man, I loved Outlaw Star.
Starts grabbing other ships and using them as a shield.
Yeah,
the magic bullets.
He grabs them and like pulls them in front of him and then uses his blaster.
And like the probes that he shoots out to like see from different angles.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think I never finished that actually. I never finished that series.
It was good.
It was good.
There were good parts.
I'm not sure how well it aged.
Yeah.
Because it's been a long time since I've actually seen it, but I remember it fondly. Let's put it that way.
To be fair, like a spaceship that fights with a sword is corny. So when when a lot of your premises are kind of corny to begin with, it tends to age well. Tends to.
Yeah. Well,
corny is
corny. As we get older, we accept the corn.
I remember when the corn was spaceships like fighting with swords and not like Marines fighting in high heels.
Oh.
I need to develop a sad puppy eye look.
That would be horrifying.
To go with all of the awful things you two do to me on these streams.
Oh, it's only getting started.
Two can play at that game. Or should I say 3? Dun. I'm awfully proud of that. It was bad. It was really bad.
It was bad. Good job.
We are at the wrapping up point. So, Daniel, let's see. Let's say let's come up with a number that we'll think will be fair. Um,
I mean, the combined ship cost. Well, I guess you could split the difference. I'm not sure how you would want to do the actual price and then
part of it
tag
you
on a
didn't pay for.
percentage. Well, okay. So then the used Y-wing, I mean, a whole used Y-wing is 73,000.
Yeah.
So if you want half a used Y-wing,
The
you
military
could-
grade stuff is very expensive.
right. So if we're saying half a used Y-wing or something along those lines, that would be a
Let's
somewhat of a ballpark.
let's do this. I'm going to make it cheaper for you. Partly because everybody here expects that you're going to continue acquiring parts and doing extra things to the ship.
Okay.
Also, it wasn't really like in great shape when you took off of that backwater planet with very limited resources and then like shot your way into Nar Shaddaa.
Yeah. And I probably took some hits doing that too.
Could be. Yeah. So here's the thing. Let's make it like let's make it $8,000, but it's gonna have quirks.
Until I can get better stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it still might have some quirks.
Well, I mean, it has the quirk of you having built it. The character that like
Right.
wants to strip everything apart and put it back together his way.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually they should always have worked like this. They're only doing it that way because they've been doing it for thousands of years.
Okay. So does that include the identity stuff too? Like
Yeah.
personal identity and
Yeah.
everything for 8K?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to say no to that.
But like I said, like you're gonna have to acquire other stuff to,
Yeah.
continue developing the ship. And even with a fake ID, you're still a wanted person.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not really looking for you, but they would still have other ways of detecting you and saying, "Oh, he's alive." Like eventually getting to the planet and firing a probe droid to look through the wreckage and
Yeah.
his chip's
just-
not here.
You just gave me another idea, but I'll have to think about it. For the actual name versus the fake ID name.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So how about this? We set it at 8, right?
Yep.
8K with quirks in the ship.
are they going to be quirks that I know about? Like, sometimes the lasers act up, and I'm not surprised when it happens, or is it going to be like, nah, you're going to have to figure it out, but once you figure it out, it doesn't change a lot? Is it going to be like Gremlins with?
Well, I haven't decided what the quirks are.
Yeah.
It could be something that, like, once you figure it out, you could just work around it, or it could also just be something that's like it's going to be intermittent.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Your electrical system is screwy. Sometimes the power just goes out.
Whoops! Life support. Oh,
Hope you didn't
won't-
need that.
you won't need life support for at least 5 minutes.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens, and
And there was
I'll try to think about some of the other things.
I I think the dead amount is fair, considering that if anybody figures out who you are, the Imperial military will want to capture you
Yeah, and may
and do
put
terrible things to
standing
you.
bounties or something out. Maybe not
Yeah,
like the bounty hunters, but just post them.
yeah. Like with Joe's character, he's from that planet. It kind of makes sense, and he has skills where he kind of knows his way around. It makes sense that he would have some contacts, so things will be kind of easier for him. Not for you. You have somebody that's very interested in stretching out the term of your working with him, and that's
Right.
the guy that's doing you not right but best.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and like, yeah, who knows what could happen? Somebody could figure out who you are and be like, oh, I could turn him in for money.
Right.
So yeah, all of those things are options. Whereas Joe's character is just, breaking the law. Nothing that would get him a death penalty.
Extra
Yet.
enemy.
I'm just bringing in some spice. Like, what's the big deal? I heard they're
Everybody does
decriminalizing it.
that.
It's not illegal, it's paralegal. It's
Nice.
extra legal.
Nice.
Exo legal. We refer to them as exo-legal goods. Okay, that's good. Next time we're gonna get started.
Yay!
We're gonna be in character, as in playing the characters. All right, so I've got my work cut out for me. Oh, Daniel, let's both just look through that scavenger's book whatever time you get to do it, and I'll look through it. And that'll give us one last shot to be like, oh, you definitely need that before you start. I don't expect that, but yeah.
Theoden is frozen in fear.
He has we lost him. Oh,
We have to be in character.
The entire time.
you have to dress as your character. It's a cosplay session. Oh, my camera is not working. That's too bad because I am in cosplay.
Oh no. My character wears a black t-shirt.
You'll come in here with like a white long sleeve shirt and throw a vest on over it.
I'm not Han Solo.
Han Solo wishes he was me because I keep constantly outdoing him.
Oh,
He's so
man.
jealous of how my reputation is keeping him in the shadows. All right, that's it. That's all I can think of. Anything else you guys want to add to it?
No.
We're going to get out of here roughly on time. On time-ish.
That doesn't seem right at all.
I know. There must be something wrong. All right.
Something's gone terribly amiss.
Everybody should go and they should see mirroring my finger. This guy's Twitch channel, especially on Fridays, where he and I will be doing something regrettable.
Almost assuredly.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Bye-bye.
Good night.